we'll see what happens.
Should be live.
Oh, okay. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not.
Click,
Oh,
click
I am.
Click on the other window.
Mm-hmm.
Click on the other window.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Seems like I'm live.
Mm-hmm.
I am live. Woohoo. Let's see if anyone... Oh, it says excellent connection. Dang. I never have an excellent connection. I have so much to do.
You're live.
Cool. Thank you. Oh, cool. Hi. T. Rogers, how are you? Oh, I got to get the number so people can call in if they want. I have so much. I'm dying to talk to you because I have so much to tell you and I want your advice. I was going to write it, but now I'd have to. Okay, let me get the number. And I don't know if you can hang out for a minute, but if you can, I got to talk to you. All right, 1 second. The number. Sweet. Okay. Where did I get it last time? Let me see here. That doesn't work. Thanks, cool. 1 second. I did not even, I put out like one little thing, like I'm going to be on for a second. Okay, think. Oh, that's impossible. All right. I just got to grab the number and then I will tell you what I'm thinking and you can I'll actually read it to you and you can give me your honest opinion. If you have a strong opinion, that is. You might be like, hey, go for it. Okay, this shouldn't be taking this long. Okay, got it. Hopefully. It's so funny. I have all these trolls who are coming in, and I just call them trolls because they were just talking about like my boobs. It was like the weirdest thing, and they didn't even like talk about like social issues. And, I tend to have strong opinions. Awesome. Well, I'm gonna love it. And so I was afraid to give the number out, but then all I did was at the end of the show kind of like got rid of them all, and now nobody's call. I guess I'm begging. I guess I just told everyone to call and be a troll, but I'm just saying. Oh, that's so mean. Okay, so I'll tell you, and then I want everybody to tell me what they think. And if you're the only one here, then it is your floor. You can call in, do whatever you want. This is just, I'm having trouble. I'm having trouble with time management because I work almost full time. Plus, I have family and I have to shower sometimes. Although I personally don't think I do, but I guess people who are around me kind of think I do. And of course, I want to eat. I have to eat, yeah, and sleep. That's always one. So it takes me I'm very slow with doing videos. I'm very slow. I'm just slow. I don't know what to say. It's me. I accept it, but a lot of people are like, oh, I never. Well, I have for a long time been like this. So here's my thing. I was trying to think of a way to make it so I can keep doing this and not be just overwhelmed every single day. And the book club is one thing that's going to be no problem. I got that coming on Sundays starting next week. The doing videos I can do. It just takes a long time. Doing interviews, I love doing interviews. But what's really taking a ton of my time is constantly trying to keep up with everything that's going on. So here's my thought, and you can laugh if you want, but please don't, or I'll go cry, because this is what I'm thinking. This morning when I was kind of halfway asleep, halfway not, I was having all these thoughts go through my head. This is what I thought. Ta-da! It's kind of scary. It is. I'm actually going to bring it up. I thought, you know what? Stop trying to keep up with, I'm one person. Stop trying to keep up with media that has a staff and that has people in the field. And who do I think I am, for the love of God? Maybe I should just start doing what I love to do, which is tell hidden history and tell top 10 things about anti-racism, anti-bigotry, inequality in America, and corruption in America. So that's kind of what I was thinking of doing, is starting a top 10. And basically for the live show, I could ask people to tell me top 10 things that they want to see done and researched. I'll do the research like crazy. I'll go everywhere and anywhere and everywhere and do the research, and then getting it down to being like just a few minutes is kind of my problem. History, yeah, and hidden history. See, my goal is this, and this has always been what I wanted to do. And this is kind of like my idea for the, and then I just got too distracted by all this Trump stuff. If any white person, okay, I'm not trying to be rude, but this is kind of true. Any white person who knows our real hidden history, like the ones that's whitewashed over at school, the one you don't get, basically, you get, a mild like, oh yes, we murdered some Native Americans. Okay, well, details matter, and giving the details to our real hidden history is so eye-opening to white folks. I know it was to me, that it cannot be, I don't have to say stop being a racist piece of shit, because it's so obvious how everything, like, here's an example. And then I really do want your opinion, so I'm going to shut up and not blab. Okay, how did inner cities, we've always had cities, from a while back, they've been around, but how did cities, inner cities, away from the ocean, inland, become places that had no infrastructure, places that had no businesses that wanted to invest, places that had schools that had, horrific amounts of state money going to them? How did this happen? And a lot of people who are in historical oppressed groups living there. Well, is it because they all wanted to live together in one place and they really didn't care if they had a grocery store? They really didn't care if their house looked nice? No, of course not. But we're not taught this in school. How do we know? So when you learn about the details of redlining, how it was absolutely legal, when you learn about things like simple things that, what is 40 acres and a mule? What does that mean? What is that? The real details. When you learn about sundown towns, thank you. Okay, good. Okay, and if you don't, you can jump in. I want to do the things that matter to me. These are the things. You don't have to preach stopping a racist piece of shit, because anyone with a freaking brain in their head is going to be like, oh my God, we did this. Just saying. They're going to say, holy crap, all those lies that I believe growing up about, oh, black people are just lazy. Oh yeah, right. We just go, oh, well, it's just everywhere. I won't have to preach and say stopping inhumane, stopping this. I'll just teach the history. And I'm sorry, I'll just say it. If you hear the real history of America and our racial history, white supremacy and whatnot, and how everything, if you're still racist, then you're way past anything I could help you with. If you're still don't realize that we did this, we meaning not you personally, but white folks. We did this. I don't have to say it. I can just explain our real racial history. So that's kind of where I'm going. So I'm going to try to, it's not changing the directions. It's just focusing the direction a little bit. Like my next video coming out today is going to be, this is such a strange thing, because you'd think what do I know? And actually it's true. What do I know? But I've been studying my butt off, although it's still there. I've been studying like crazy, learning all this stuff, plus adding my own personal experiences from, when I worked in Compton as a teacher, during the LA riots, my little daughter, what I've experienced. Oh my goodness, late in life, because I'm an older mom, but that was a choice. And adding it all up, I'm doing a video on what white people need to know about black hair, African American hair that people who are more melanin active in their bodies get, which is a variety of my God, it's more actually probably a variety than just plain European. European people's hair it's straight, curly, or wavy. That's it. Woo. But people who are have more melanin active in their systems have, oh my gosh, different regions, it's unbelievable, the differences and the variation and the beauty and the customs and so why you should keep your grubby hands off of people's hair, even if you ask. That's what my video is. Top 10 reasons. And I got this from so many people. So that's the kind of video I want to do. So anyway, I'm done talking momentarily for like 1 second. T. Rogers, what do you think of me kind of going towards that? Is that, I don't know if you want to call in or just say, or just to refocus things. Because right now I'm doing something that I'll never be able to succeed at, which, and if you're just joining me, this is just a free stream. You can talk about whatever we want. You can call in. I have the number. I'll put it again. Call in, talk about anything you want. Tell me anything you want. If you're watching, say hi. You can ask me any question. I can't guarantee an answer. And I'm just going to, if nobody has anything, I'm just going to, it's basically hanging out with me. So what I was just telling T. Rogers is, and she's amazing, and I love your strong opinions. I want strong opinions, if you have them. My big thing is, if I have a strong opinion, I will say. If I don't, I will also say. And that's really annoying, because I try to stay in the gray areas and not always be like an extremist. Although extremist gets more views and is more fun, it's kind of disingenuous sometimes. I can't say I feel strongly about something if I really don't at all. Like some things I really don't. I'm like, you know what? Or here's one. Some things I don't know enough about. And that's something that a lot of people don't do. And I'm trying as an older adult to be more honest with myself. Oh, yay. Okay. Hopefully. Hello.
Hello?
Hi. Is this T. Rogers or somebody else?
Yes. I forgot that there was a delay.
Oh, you got to turn off your stuff. Yeah. You got to turn off your stuff or you'll hear, thank you for calling in. So what do you think? What do you think? You can tell me. I won't cry.
Well, no, it's fine. I actually have a lot of thoughts running through my head, but I feel like you hit the nail on the head when you said historical, the what do you call it, hidden history?
Yes.
Because that to me is what's hugely lacking. They don't see it largely because they haven't been taught the truth. You know, like you said, they've been given this whitewashed history, and they don't understand. And I'm not saying that people. I mean, there are people who definitely do understand some things. They just don't care to, but a lot of it, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, a lot of it is they just really don't get it. So it's hard to penetrate through, past a certain point. I hope I'm making sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's not on their radar. Absolutely. Keep going. You're doing great.
Yeah. And so, I have been watching, and even for me as a Black person, there's a lot of things I still didn't know that was just like, oh my God, because I wasn't exposed to it living in America, even as a Black person. And like I said, there are some awesome things going on now, like on Netflix, that that are historical, focused on the historical perspective, that kind of will help people understand how we got here. They want to know why we're continuing to say this and say that, and why we keep, this is why. If you go back, I just watched something last night. Will Smith was the host. I gotta think of what it's called, but it's on there. It's new, but they basically are picking apart the 14th Amendment.
Love
and,
that.
How all of that, what that meant for Black people in this country.
That's huge.
And it was really good. That's one. And like I said, there's a movie called 13th. Documentary.
Documentary, right.
That Ava DuVernay did a while back, and that's good. So anything that's going to allow them to really see what really happened may help. Now, the biggest thing, I think the biggest hurdle is just getting people being willing
So
to look and face it, because it's hard.
yeah, I'm
I
writing
mean,
down what you say,
really-
by the way. I'm not like ignoring you. I'm writing down notes on what you're saying.
Oh, I know.
I'm not trying to.
So,
Yeah, right. They don't want to
you
do
know,
it. They're like well because they don't want to do it. So you're right. It's absolutely.
yeah. And so that might be the biggest hurdle, is just getting people to be willing to look at it. You know, there are things out there, but are they, they kind of turn away from it because they don't want to be faced with it. But it's reality. I mean, you want to talk about preserving history, and this is history. Okay, well, let's look at the real history then. You know, they're always talking about how we don't want to, no matter how ugly it is, we don't want to forget about history. Okay, well,
Yeah, we do.
let's not forget about this ugly part of history then.
We want to
Since
forget
you
about
want to
anything.
say that,
Right.
you want to make that argument.
We just like to say that. We don't really think that. It's like, you know what I mean? I'm
Right.
sorry, white people are full of it.
And there was something I wrote on February 16th. Let me see if I can remember. I mean, if I can find it.
Take your time.
Because it was something that I've been wanting to say. It's related to what you're talking about, but I was just like flowing in my mind. I was actually going to call that Wednesday night, but then that whole thing happened, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait till next time.
Thank you. I think we fixed it, by the way, but yeah. Oh, I want to hear what you have to say. Yeah, take your time and find it. I'm thrilled for you to tell me.
Okay,
You're
I
making
think
me
I
happy.
got it. If I kind of, let's see. Okay, I put it on my iPad and all that, and so it's different. I copied it because I'm on my phone, so I can't read it off my phone unless I put you on speaker.
Hey, that's where
But
I'm
anyway, I
frustrated.
put here.
Fine.
I wrote, racism is at the center of everything in this country, and you have to get to the core of it. Well, the core lies with white people, being willing to be humble, learn, and I know we know this part, learn how everything has affected us as people of color, and how all of this started with white people. They have to be willing to go back, do their research, and learn the real history of how everything began, not just this whitewashed history as we were all brainwashed to believe. Freedom starts with the truth. The teacher in me always wants to assess why they are not getting it. Why are they not making the connection? Now, of course, we can say that they're ignorant, need to be humble and listen, and so on. But when I watch a lot of white people respond to someone saying they are racist or being racist, they often seem puzzled or confused, and, hence they will respond with talking about the obvious forms of racism, and they go on to say, well, I'm not doing this or that, I'm not racist. They're thinking, like I was telling you before, they're thinking of the explicit stuff. Mm-hmm. They don't really understand the implicit stuff, which I feel like the historical direction that you're talking about going into will kind of help get more into that.
Absolutely.
Not all the time, of course, but, many white people who don't see it, they just don't see it. Now, of course, they may not be receptive to it right now, but perhaps if you drop a nugget of truth here and there and kind of leave them to their own devices, maybe they'll be more apt to get it or to, kind of, well, let me see what's going on.
It needs to be digested. Right, one piece at a time, because we're very, very fragile. I mean, we are. It's just, we're like, what? I never. I mean, we're so defensive.
Yeah, and I'm like, just hold on. I just want you to listen. That's what I try to tell people. And it's like, perhaps they'll see how racism is embedded in everything. I mean, it's a fact. If you go, anything that you research, it's obvious. That's where it all started. It's like racism is embedded in everything. That is how our country was started. I'm just all about trying different approaches with people. It may not work, but I just feel like, like I said, the teacher in me, it's like, well, let me try this strategy. Well, let me try this. How can I reach them? Maybe it's this way. Maybe they don't get it the way that I'm approaching them. For example, that exercise that Jane Elliott did, I'm sure everybody knows about it, when she said, stand up if you want to be treated the way that
we treat black people.
They treat black people. Mm-hmm. And nobody stood up. So right then and there, she was able to say, see, aha, you do know.
You do know. You just...
And that is the part, right there that white people don't see. They're thinking the obvious stuff that everybody sees. KKK, we all know that, you know. We're talking more like the deep, you know, implicit things that
Embedded in
people
everything.
don't readily see. Right. It's in everything, and you don't even think about it. Like, and I even asked somebody on one of those YouTube things that you saw me on. I was like, okay, so let's switch places. Or I said something to the effect of, so would you want to be a black person then? You know, and I don't think the guy ever responded because I think I perhaps I sent him a way to think. I don't know. Maybe he's still his obnoxious, self-righteous self. But I kind of was throwing things at him to think, like, you know, okay, what if I was you? What if you were me? Do you think you would like the way that things are going for you in this country? If you were me, you know, it's like they don't step outside of their world. They only see stuff in their, you know,
That's
in their bubble.
Great point. Can I tell you something really fast?
Yeah.
Yeah, a second. If you're in the middle of thought, keep going. I did something just what you're saying one of my first videos. It's a little bit different. Tell me if you think this is kind of it. This is what I put. So we all have equity and equality, and you know everyone has an equal chance in America. All right, no matter what your skin tone is. All right, great. Go ahead, everybody, white folks, pick a skin tone. And I had this skin tone thing where it went from like, you know, albino basically to like the darkest black. I said, pick whatever you think's most beautiful. And I said, and then in a few minutes, don't lie to me and tell me that you picked the darkest. Don't even go there. I said, if you're being being honest with yourself, you're full of shit. If you're not being honest, I said, don't even go there. I said, you picked a lighter tone. I know you did. And I was like, kind of a bitch about it. But I was like, so don't say you don't know what I'm talking about. So it's kind of like what you're saying, a little bit.
Yes, it's a lot like that. And also, what else was I thinking? It's, you know, it's a subconscious thing. It's like a cancer. You can't always see it until perhaps you use a different tool or do some more digging to actually find it. And that's what it is. I mean, it's just, I think of it as cancer. It's just so, you know, it multiplies and it embeds itself in different things, and people don't always recognize it. And sometimes you don't even see it there until you kind of, you know, how when somebody ever said you have breast cancer and they didn't see it at first, and then they kind of had to do something else, and it's like, oh, there it is. You know, it's like that. And I just wish that my at the core of me, it's a very I'm very passionate about this.
I know, and
there's times that I've given up, and I'm like, okay, this is never good, because it's
exhausting,
an evil,
right?
in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like exhausting.
And I feel like it's just not, you know, it's never going to change, because, and I hate to sound like that, but it's just the way that everything was started. It's like we were set up for everything to be like this.
It's a powerful system, right? It's a powerful system, and we're one person, and how can we? It's a system. That's the problem. But
but anyway, I think that if we could find a way to get them to being willing to really examine the history and not be so defensive and not be so quick to turn away, but to really look. You need to see this. You need to look at this. And, you know, that may help a lot more people to kind of realize, oh, you know, maybe the light bulb will go off, you know, and it might be still baby steps, you know. I mean, this is a big elephant, you know, because it's a part of, it defines America, unfortunately. And you would think, but I feel like you would think that even stuff with like the insurrection that happened, that people would be like, oh, but you know, and you still got people out there saying,
oh yeah,
to imply that had to do with racism. I can't believe, and I'm like, you don't see that?
The
like,
willful ignorance is real. It's like,
I mean, I don't understand. Like, that's what worries me. That even if we try to have that approach to show them, look here, what happened here, they're gonna come up with some other crazy thing that's going to still blindside them from the truth. But it is what it is. I mean, hopefully we can reach some people, along the way. But it really needs to be enough so that we can start help turning this society around so that people, because whether people like it or not, this world, I mean, this country is not going to look mostly like white people. It's going to be a mixture of different people. It already is, but it's going to be even more that.
Right, right.
So
as time goes on, that's a
what are you
natural
going to
occurrence.
do? People are not going to put up with that. They're not, and
And
that
they
might be
shouldn't.
why people are, and that
We
might be
shouldn't
why a
now.
lot of people are behaving the way a lot of white people are behaving the way they are, because they already know in the back of their minds that, you know, they're not always going to be in power after a certain point, or they fear that. I won't say no, but maybe, they are trying to set things up, which they already have, but even continue to do
Yeah, they
so
want it to keep
in a
going,
way
right?
that will keep us
Systemically.
from, like people say, oh, they're always trying to keep us down. I mean, that's true. I know it's cliche. White men always trying to keep us down, but that's really
Well,
what
it's
it
true.
is.
I mean, if you know your real racial
Yeah.
history, it's true. What are you going to do? It's the truth. I
Right.
speak the truth, and the truth can be ugly, or it can be pretty, or it can be somewhere in between. And usually, it's somewhere in between. But when you have a second, I have a question to ask you. But keep this is wonderful. I love hearing what you're saying. I just have a question when you're
Okay. You can ask. I'm done right now.
okay. Oh, okay. What I wanted to ask you was this, and I want your opinion, or what you think from your experience, knowledge, and research, etc. For me, this is what I've always thought, and I want to see if you kind of maybe agree. What I've always thought, the number one thing, obviously, what we just are speaking of, how we brought up the subject, is getting people to see our real racial history, and in which case, like I said, you don't have to beg someone to not be racist. Anyone with a friggin' brain would be like, we did this. My God, we did this. You don't have
Right.
to tell them that. You just show them the information that they don't know. And they will conclude that if they have, I think that's obvious. But aside from that, I think what's stopping people from going there is very, very psychological, almost like a cult and brainwashing. We're born into this, like I said last time, we're born into this. The very first thing, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, as a little newborn in a cradle, if you're born in the hospital and you were born, when I was born, like, no, I will not tell you when, long ago, ages ago. They had running water, yes. Okay. And yes, they had telephones too. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, you look up as this little, gaga goo goo, and you see a white male
Right.
doctor, and you see women white nurses,
Right.
and you look around and the cleaning staff's brown, and so we are indoctrinated at the hospital, okay? And
Yes.
so my question is, other than that, do you think it's just psychological, that like this is psychological barrier? We can't, like, I mean, we're so fragile. Wow. Like, I mean, just like the book that we're gonna, I'm starting this book club on starting Sunday, White Fragility by Dr. Robin DiAngelo. We are just
Yeah.
too freaking like freaked out emotionally. If we can just drop our goddamn ego, like somehow, that's what I think is the number one. Like, we're just too like indignant. What do you think of that? That's my question. Like, that's such a big. Do you think so? Is that?
I
I mean,
I agree. I mean, I think it definitely has a lot to do with psychological. I mean, I think the entire system, even starting from the slave trade and all that, that was psychological. I mean, that's the entire. Everything was built on psychological manipulation, and so as I'm processing what you're saying, I mean, I
take your
really
time.
do believe that people are psychologically, what do you call it, harmed through all of this. I mean,
yeah, and white folks don't
even
want to
black
face
people.
it. Oh,
You got black
absolutely.
people who say certain things like, They prefer, I mean, it's not as common now. I think we've kind of started to get out of that, and
We're all
that's something in
brainwashed.
our own community that we've had to work through.
We're all
just
brainwashed.
to learn how to love, But we've gone through that, and I even have, still in my life, family members who will say, like, things like, "Oh, this person's lighter skin, and they're this or that, or they're a trophy." I'm like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And I'm different because I'm the type of person who I tend to think very, very dark skinned people are the most beautiful people. I just always thought that. It was never. I was never that type of person who thought lighter was better. I don't know why, but
That's how you get to be an individual. You get to be like, I get that. You were born that way.
Growing up in a society where you would think that I would be brainwashed into thinking, oh, well, lighter is better, I just did not go there in my mind. But
you
also,
just didn't buy into it.
My mom was very light-skinned. My dad was very dark-skinned. And so I was like, black is black. I don't care. And I'm in the middle. I'm like that caramel color. So I just feel like it don't matter to me. I don't care, But I just always had more of a affinity for darker skin. I just thought they were just so beautiful, But I've gone through situations where, people who are lighter than me even would say stuff like, "Oh, your skin tone is ugly."
Are you? Yeah. See,
and
it's
other black people.
Yeah, no, I know, and it's so crazy because you think, don't do this. You're doing you've been indoctrinated too. Don't be indoctrinated. The white people indoctrinated.
Right. So we're all. I mean, just as black people are psychologically harmed through this, white people are more so, and also I feel like, but with black people, because of what we've been through, we're kind of more, of course, willing to change that and more like, oh, no, I'm not going to be like, whereas white people, it's different because y'all are treated differently and y'all are, it's like,
it's not even on some of our radar.
Have this and that because you're white, whereas us, we're kind of among ourselves trying to, no, I'm better because I'm light, you get some black people who do that. Now, like I said, it's not as I don't see it as much coming out anymore, but
there's been a lot of news
happens, I'm sure.
Yeah, and colors.
And in school, in school, it was that a lot.
Oh, I bet it's become much more of an issue that people talk about. Even white people talk about it now, and that's really good. And we don't talk about anything that has to do with racism. We're too afraid. But I think it's a really good thing too because I truly believe the more you talk about things, how are you going to solve anything if you, like, I always tell the white folks, and this goes, I guess, for kind of everybody, I suppose, although I don't teach just anybody, I teach the white people about systemic racism. How would I teach somebody who's how would I know better than people who live it? But, I say that if you really want to understand what the social issues are today, you have to understand our real racial history. Or yours is just kind of a dime a dozen opinion. You don't know, if you don't know our real racial history, and this is obviously to white people, then you don't know how our problems today came about. So anything you say is really kind of ignorant no matter what, or it's a guess, or it's, it's not based in, it's not a historical understanding. So.
And I see some people on here kind of going back and forth about the whole, the
true Israelites
thing, and I'm not even going there because that is that's another rabbit hole. If we just, history is, if you just go by facts.
History, right? Exactly. And I won't go there either. I'm so with you. I won't go there either, and I understand that some people will. I'm not downing them, but it turns into something that pulls away from right here and now. What's happening?
Yeah, I'm not. It's or whatever you said. Okay, you said nothing about Christianity. Whatever. Okay.
I don't.
My point is, I'm not really going there right now. My focus is, let's give people the just basic history of what happened back in the day. That's it.
Like what we were talking about at the beginning. Yeah, like exactly what we were saying. Yeah, if they get the basics.
That's it.
If they get the basics.
So,
Then, so you think that
yeah.
the direction's okay, that you think I'm probably going to go?
I mean, I feel like it, you know, if anybody could reach them, it's another white person, you know, somebody like you who's really passionate about trying to help educate white people and show them, look, this is what we're doing to our brothers and sisters.
Right,
you know,
yeah. Exactly.
I mean, I think anything but to break down those psychological barriers and to help them to really see, look, guys, look what's going on. You know, I feel like, to me, that's a win. That's just, you know, that's just how I see it.
Okay, cool. You're so supportive. I love it, because my big thing is this isn't about guilt. Guilt? Maybe I should, but I don't feel guilty about anything. I mean, regarding racism, I don't have like this. I wasn't like ever raised overtly racist. Like some people can feel guilty, like, oh, I called people. I didn't do that. I was raised in the era of colorblind. You know, I was raised around all white people.
Right.
You know, so I don't have this like terrible, like, I didn't burn crosses on my lawn. I didn't call people N-words. I didn't do things. But because I was born into this society, I too was brainwashed to be racist, and on different levels, but I was. So I look into so I don't have any guilt like that. It's not about guilt. It's about why wouldn't we? These are our fellow humans. Why would we sit and watch?
And I feel like,
why would we watch and do nothing?
And I feel like, you know, it's not so much about a guilt thing as it is more of a self-awareness type thing, you know?
Exactly. Why wouldn't we just sit here and go, well, we were born into it, so who cares? It's like,
nobody, like, we all know that you specifically did not go and, you know, enslave people. We all know that. They keep saying, well, my family didn't. We all know that. We're not talking specifically about that.
It's not about us.
We're talking about something in your mind that's been passed down for generations, that there's and everybody knows it's there. They don't want to admit it, but there's a piece of you that says to yourself, black people are lower than me.
100%.
Black people are not as good as me. The white person, is a standard. You know, there's an example I was thinking of. You know how when you go on those emojis, or like when you're on your phone and you try to go and select like what reaction you want to give, whether you know, well, what do they all? They start out as white,
default.
And then you have to go on there and change it to your color. That's an example. That's the kind of stuff that they don't see. They're just like, well, it's not you. It's just that's the way everything has been created. And we're trying to say, look, it's not all about everything for white people. You know, it's about, let's be inclusive of everyone.
Everything's white-centered. Everything's white-centered.
That's it. Everything should not be so white-centered. And that's just how it is. I mean, it's like, everything that I look at when I go, everything, and I see them trying to change different things, like the commercials on TV.
Band-Aids.
You know, I do see little things,
and stuff.
And that's good, you know, but there's even still with all of that, and I do applaud society for trying to change in some ways, but there's still an underlying thing where it says something about, you still, and you might not even know, I mean, black people do it. Mm-hmm. In your mind, you just automatically go to the white thing as a standard. And we have to be as good as. Like, that is how it is. Even now, it happened to me, even dealing with the person who worked for my son's school. It was a weird situation, but we were basically trying to get something to happen, and the situation, she literally basically showed me, it's hard to explain because it's kind of deep, but she basically was like, she wasn't going to do what she was supposed to do until the white person came. Then when the white people came, then it's like, okay, it's okay to do it. It's like, that's how black people think. It's like white people are like, oh, when the white people show up, everything's going to be, and it's like, that's not right.
It's like the hair.
That's how we even think.
When the white people started wearing I didn't mean to interrupt, I'm sorry. When the white people started wearing the braids, all of a sudden it was cool and wonderful, and it's like, is that kind of like it takes, is that kind of what you mean, or am I missing? I don't know what the thing was.
It's similar to that, but it's more deeper than that. Yeah. But it's similar to that. I have to really think more about the situation, I'll write about it, and I'll show you. I'll explain it in my writing so that I can make more sense of what I'm saying. Because it was like it just came as an afterthought, so it's like I'm not going to be able to explain it right.
I want to hear what you're saying.
Like sit down and think through it.
Yeah, I think I know what you're saying. Like, well, I mean, and I know I'm talking around it because I'm not 100% sure, but I'll read your writing for sure. Like, one of my friends said something, and I know this is not it. My friend Tim, who I interview all the time, he okay, this is just like a classic thing. He went to the doctors, and he went to the eye doctors, and he's a little older than I am, and he has he's getting cataracts, glaucoma-ish type, and that actually, as age, I think that happens. Well, he went to the doctor, and it was a white doctor by chance or whatever, and they said, no, you don't need surgery. And he's like, but you just said I have glaucoma. He goes, no, you don't need it. And he's like, okay. So he went to his other doctor, and he's like, what the actual, like, I kind of like to be able to see, like, why do I not need it? But I have it. And his other doctor, he went to a second opinion, and they said, oh, hell yes, you need to get, And it was like, whoa. So it was like, it's like it's just white supremacy is just.
It's like until
everywhere.
white people say it, it's not, or until white people show up, nothing's valid. It's not, and that has to change. Because
that's what
it's
I was
like, who said white is right? Who said that? Well, somebody did say it, because obviously it's embedded in us. From the beginning, because we all think that way. Either white, black, it doesn't matter. Everybody thinks that.
We're indoctrinated.
And so,
yeah.
I'm tired of people always think that, just because I'm black, I must be poor and downtrodden and live, and what do you call it?
Impoverished and
go to a bad school. And it's funny. I've never even been in that situation. I'm from the suburbs. I did not live that type of life.
Right.
I mean, it was just a regular life. But even my children, they look at me like, Mom, what they talk? Like, they wouldn't even know if someone looked at them and tried to make an assumption, like, oh, how Donald Trump would say little things like, your schools are bad and this, that, and that, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And I'm looking like, what? My school? I don't relate to that, because you're looking at one, they always think
stereotyping.
We're monolithic.
It's
like we're not a monolith.
You know what?
It's weird. It's like, and I told somebody, I said, that's because all they throw is they flash the most ignorant black person on the screen to make everybody think that all black people are that way, when there are ignorant people of all races, but when they show us on the screen, and that has a lot to do with it too. What's thrown up there. It's like, that's not fair, but they always go there. I look at all the comments when I'm online.
Sampling of one, right?
I'm like, are you trying to, like, you don't even know me. That's not my experience in this life. Yeah. So you're talking about a certain percentage of black people in a certain area in a certain situation. Okay, that's not me. Would it be fair for me to say all white people this, and make you look bad? Maybe we should start throwing ugly images of white people on TV to make them look, how would y'all feel? Like, that's, but that's how our society operates. It's like, make the black person look like the worst.
Right. Right.
Like,
absolutely. I have a question when you're
connect to that lifestyle. Go ahead.
I have a question.
I'm just rambling.
No, not at all. This is great. I just want to interrupt you, and I want to jump in and say something about what you just said. Of course, you could always find, it's not a monolith. Hello, you'll always find somebody, one person that you see, they said, Morgan Freeman said this, and it's like, whoa. You can always find one person, one sampling of one, sorry, doesn't cut it. But have you seen I want to ask you this. It's College Humor, and it's kind of goofy, but it was so spot on, exemplifying exactly what you're saying. It was a group of, maybe you've seen it, I don't know, I think I would get dinged for copyright if I put it on, but it is so spot on. It has an engineering firm, and they're all at the water cooler, typical. It's a classic cliche. One guy's black, one guy's, everyone's white, one guy's Asian, maybe. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
They all work at the same company. They're all engineers, and they're going to get pizza for lunch, or they're going to get something for lunch, and they're all chipping in. And I mean, it is such a stereotype. I mean, but that's what college humor is. It's supposed to show you, like, seriously. And they're all,
Right.
everyone's chipping in their $5. And when the black man engineer says, here, and they're like, oh, no, you don't have to pay. And he's like, why? It's not my birthday, you know? And they're like, well, you know,
Yeah.
we all know. And he's like, no, what? What? And he realizes, he goes, I'm an engineer just like you guys. What the F, you know? And they're like, no. We just,
Yeah.
and it was like such a, but the guy worked at the frickin' firm and they know that he's an engineer, you know what I mean? It was not,
Yeah.
that's kind of saying what you were saying is we have this like image and like when Trump,
Weird.
he said, you have nothing to lose. Well, I'm sorry. I was like, are you kidding me? Nothing to lose.
Right.
It's acting like every black person's like impoverished and a drug addict and has no home. What? It's like, what?
Right. I'm like, that's not, you know, and yeah, sometimes when people would say certain things that do, and I'll just look at them like, what? You know, and it's just weird to me because I'm like, huh? I just don't understand. And then I think, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. They're thinking because I'm black, I must be. And I'm like, I don't even have that lifestyle, but whatever. And I'm just going about my business. You know, I'm just like, okay, well, you want to think that, go on and think that. But that's silly because everybody should know that in this society, we're all different, you know? And not to gloat, but a lot of like the white people who might try to look down on me or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I'm more successful and make more money than them. And they're looking at me like I am, you know, the one that, you know, oh, I'm just so downtrodden. I'm looking like, what are you talking about? You know, I don't get it.
Seriously? I know, it's so...
It's weird to me. But, so we gotta, that's the part that I feel like we really have to.
It's like arrogance. I mean, really. It's obnoxious.
Because I'm like, so you think that just because you're white, you just automatically are in a better, which in some, well, the way society is set up, yeah, you're in a better position than me, you know, if you think of it in a societal sense, but in terms of just regular, everyday, you know, life, you know,
not
like
so much.
The people
Right.
have the most degrees, the most successful people are black women.
Right, black women are the most educated in the United States by far. It's not even a close call.
Right? Yeah.
So.
And so I'm like.
Yeah. Societally, maybe, but not.
I want to say that.
Yeah, not individually. It's like, dude, I'm doing okay. You know, it's like, it's right. You know what's so crazy is that despite all the things that white folks and the system of white supremacy over the years, which are people, but it's a system, have done, the most amazing thing to me is black people are still doing amazing on so many levels. Yeah. Like, it's like like I said in one of my videos, we find a way to when they keep succeeding, we find another way to knock them down and they still persevere. So it's like, stop already, you know? It's like...
Yeah. Well, we have no choice because we've been in a situation where we've had to learn how to maneuver around.
Right, there's no choice.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's a part of who we have to be. We already know that in this country we're going to have to work much harder and do much more to kind of prove ourselves. So it's like, okay, I already automatically know this, so let me... And so a lot of us tend to just, since we know that, we just kind of overdo it, you know.
Like you have to be an overachiever, and that's not fair.
Yeah, I've had a lady told me in school. I've always been an overachiever, and the lady told me because I'm like I love to write, and that's one of my strengths is writing. And so I was in school to become a teacher, and I was going to like student teaching and all that, and it was like an old white lady who was my, I guess you would say, field supervisor, who would kind of, you know, I had to write papers and different things of that sort. And she would come and visit and watch me teach or whatever. And so I was doing a report on something one day. And, well, I was turning in different assignments. Mm-hmm. And she said to me, you know, she would always try to nitpick, but she couldn't find anything with me because I was such an excellent writer. And she said, your writing's too good. I'm like, how's my writing?
Oh, please.
Too good.
Please.
Too good.
Yeah, now you can't win
Why can't
because...
you just... She could never give me a compliment. She even destroyed my chances at getting a job in the school system because she would talk bad about me for no reason. I mean, there was nothing. I was excellent at everything.
Yep.
But because
this one person
did not like me, because I was a black woman who could probably write better than her, she tried to make it hard for me at every turn. You know,
it only takes one person sometimes.
And then the lady who I student taught under was racist. She would say little things like, "My daddy fought in the Civil War." I'm like, okay.
Congratulations.
Okay, here we go. And then, and I'm like, then once, there was these it's just little innuendos. There was this boy who came, his name was Jeffrey, overweight black kid who, I really liked him, and I would sometimes I would, get on to him or discipline him in a way that I wanted him to really get it. And I'm not very harsh, but
right.
I was just like, "Hey, Jeffrey, you need to do this," And
you took him under your wing, kind of? You took him under your wing a little bit because you really thought you could help him?
I took him under my wing, yes. And I really connected with the kid.
Uh-huh.
And she said to me one day...
I love that. That's
she said, he is, what did she say? "I just want to let you know, Jeffrey came from a really bad situation. Two of his aunts were black women who were really abusive towards him." And I was like, okay, so you saying that the way I'm talking to him? Jeffrey loved me. He didn't take my
what are you trying to say? You're like, what are you trying to say, lady?
So basically, I already got it, and I said, okay.
She sounded really racist.
And I backed off.
The way she sounds overtly racist.
Very racist.
God.
There was nothing I could do. She would nitpick at everything. There was nothing I could do. And her and my field supervisor, they both they made my life hell that last year, my student teaching year.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
And the funny thing was, I wasn't even supposed to be in her class. As the lady who I was telling you about, who with Jeffrey, the teacher I was under, I wasn't even supposed to be in her class. It's just that we switched at the last minute for whatever reason. And I'm like, man, I really wish I would have been with the other lady, because the other white lady was more like you, like, she would let me do everything, and she was very, you could tell she was more open-minded. Yeah. This lady was an older white lady who was stuck in her ways, very racist, and more so just used me to watch the kids and didn't, I felt like, okay, you're treating me like a slave, basically. Right. I'm just here because I couldn't really, she didn't really turn the class all the way over to me towards the end. It was always like, you're not welcome, and that's the vibe I got.
That's the problem.
And it's funny because I won the children over.
Well, you're so
I ended up killing her with kindness. Yeah. And she was just like, she didn't know how to respond to me. So, but it was crazy. I mean,
that's awful.
I know I could go on and on about stories, but I want to give somebody else a chance to call if they want to.
Okay. Well, God, that sounds, what you just told me, it just exemplifies. It takes one person in a place of power who's overtly racist like that to destroy anyone's opportunity. And it's so crazy. Then you just think of police officers. Oh my God, that's just a teacher, right? Think of police people coming in like that. They have a freaking gun. Yeah, because they have impunity. It's like,
because they had the power to give me recommendations, and they knew everybody at the school board. So all they had to do was say, this girl applies. They all knew each other. And so I got blocked from being able to get a job in my own county because of that. And so I'm like, well, if they're going to act like that, I don't want to work for a school system like that anyway.
Racism's powerful. The system, it's powerful. People don't get it.
Example, and that's just a small, tiny example of that's on a small scale, And that's the whole power thing. Like people don't understand. No, people say, "Oh, I have it bad just like you are." No, you really don't. You and I can both walk into somewhere with the same credentials and everything. They would pick you over me.
The bottom
just
line,
because
right?
of
The bottom line is they might have it bad, but it's not because of the color of their skin,
there it is.
and that's the problem. That's what they're not understanding. Is sure they might be impoverished, they might have had that, but it's not because of who they are born as a person. It's crazy. I totally get it.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, as much as I could. Right. Oh my gosh. Well, I like to hear stories because they're real examples of, you think, oh, it's kind of harmless. No, it's not. It's not harmless. It's life-changing and devastating.
No, I still remember that. And I was never treated that way until I came. I'm in Georgia. Till I came to Georgia, because I'm not from here. I'm from Pennsylvania, and so I did not really experience that. You know, there was a lot of racial mixing, and we were around different races and everything. And my family, you know, we have different races. So when I came here, and they were all like wanting to be separate, and I'm not saying it's not. Of course, there's racism everywhere, but I did not get that type of treatment until I came to the South. That's just what happened to me. That's just my experience. You know, when I came to Georgia, that is what.
Well,
I was like,
state to
are they
state, it does
seriously
change.
treating me like this because I'm black?
It does
You
change.
know, I was kind of flabbergasted. Like, wait a minute, is it really? Is this racism? Like, I had to keep asking myself. I was like, no, this can't be.
My friend Jordan.
You know, because
my friend Jordan.
Go
If
ahead.
you watch his stuff, I did. We've done 3 or 4 interviews, and we do it weekly. Oh my God, he's had such the same experience of state to state. Like, damn, he lives in Maine now, and he's like, oh my God. He goes, every person I read. So before he was like, yeah, what is this racism crap? It's, you know, I'm sorry, he wasn't like that, but he was like, you know, people kind of make a big deal. And now he's like, oh my God, I see it now. Wow. So it's like, it is state to state. But
yeah, it just depends on where you are, and if you're in a little small pocket of where maybe there's not a whole lot of minorities there, then you might start to see it, or, you know, and see where I'm at. It's more rural. I mean, we're south of Atlanta, but we're still metro Atlanta area, but it's some pockets where it's like really, really, you know, you've got people like neighbors and people around me who have a lot of Trump signs and a lot of Confederate flag stuff. So I'm kind of in the midst, but at the same time, it's a mixture of people. So it's weird. It's like, you know, I'm in a mixture, but yet I don't know what's going on. But, you know, it's an interesting situation. But anyway,
well, thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate it. You're awesome.
Problem.
Thank you. And if you're around and have time, I'd love to see you on Wednesday. Your input is really valuable. And I think it's so cool you're a special ed teacher too, like me. So.
Oh yeah. Yep. So I'll be there. I mean, I pretty much kind of blocked out my time because I enjoyed it. So I'm sure I'll be there. Unless something crazy comes up, I should be there Wednesday.
All right, sweet. Well, I will really look forward to that. And I got to keep my network up. I think we figured it out, but you never know. All right. Well, it's great talking to you.
You too. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Talk to you soon. Oh my gosh. Let me try to hang up. Oh, that was wonderful. And I know that somebody's saying, oh, come on, hurry up. We want to. But that was T. Rogers. Thank you so much for calling in. She is wonderful. She is just a really incredible woman. I'm getting to know her. I love it. I see some serious conversation going, which I appreciate. Oh, God, don't be so... No. I was thrilled to have you. No sorry. Only good. I'm just... T. Rogers, you are just perfect because you're you. I'm serious. I think you're awesome. Don't even. It's like, you see me, blah, blah, blah. I'm never, ugh. But you have such experience and wisdom. And I can tell you have a heart of gold, so I'm thrilled to have you. Don't be sorry one bit. I love it. So yeah, today, how that kicked off was basically, I'm going to try to, I'm kind of thinking about this. Obviously, I just came up with it. I'm having a really hard time. T. Rogers, if you ever need a self-esteem boost, I have so many people in my life online and whatnot. You are like, okay, I don't want to embarrass you, but you're amazing. You're wonderful. And I'm just thrilled that I found you or you found me or however. So I was going to say, we started talking about I'm just here to hang out. I actually, every Sunday I'm going to come on from 3 to 5. And basically, I want to get to know people. I want to get to know people who are watching, what they want, what they don't, what they like, what they think. You can call in. I put the number again. If you can call in, boop, there it is. Write stuff. I'll read it. If it goes way off topic, like there's some inner conversation, I'm probably not going to go there. If it's into conspiracy stuff, I don't really go there. Some of this conspiracy stuff has some little bit of truth to it, and it's really hard. But I'm really, really anti-conspiracy stuff for obviously a lot of reasons. Yes, I'm into the science. Yes, I'm into the social science. We've come a long way in that. I'm into best practices. So if you come on and you start talking about stuff that's really iffy, it's okay to talk about stuff that's true. But when you start going to the conspiracy stuff, that's where I'm out. But I'll talk about anything really, other than getting way into the conspiracy stuff, because I just don't get it. I have to say. I mean, enough said. But what we were talking about is I'm having really a lot of trouble with my channel. The white people hate me, and not everybody, obviously. The white people hate me, and black folks don't trust me, and I absolutely don't blame them at all. So I start all over with every single person I meet. They think I'm basically, yeah, totally right. It just I can't go there. I've lost some friends to it. Actually, I lost my best friend to it, and I never saw it coming. That was stupid me. I couldn't have stopped it anyway, probably. So, basically, I love this person, but whatever. It is what it is. I've lost relatives to it. When I say lost, I mean they've gone off the deep end. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no logic. There's no best practices. There's no science. There's no reasons. There's no logic. There's no critical thinking skills. There's no expertise. And what we were talking about earlier when we first started, and then she decided to call in, which I was thrilled, was that I can't compete with the media who have lots and lots of money and who have lots and lots of thank you, Gigi. Thank you. You're so sweet. Oh my God, thank you. I cannot compete with them because like they have a staff and they have, this is crazy stuff. It's 24/7 with Trump on board. It was like the news turned over every hour. So what we were talking about earlier, Gigi, thank you so much. That is something I will earn over time with people by showing them my behavior and my consistency and who I am. And that's the only way I can do it. I can say, oh, I'm this, I'm that. No. My behavior over time is the only thing. And I'm not perfect, but I know who I am because I kind of was born that way. It's like I really was. And I'm not perfect, but I speak the truth, even when it's ugly, because it means something to me. So anyway, I'm blabbing all around. It's trial and error with reaching folks. Yeah, absolutely. You got it. When I first started this kind of thing a long time ago, people said, you have to tell white people that they're a racist piece of shit, and you have to, and I'm like, okay, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. That's just not who I am. Some people are dying, and we have to, and whereas I get that, I couldn't do what they wanted me to do. My mentors who are white were telling me, you tell that person that they're a racist bastard, and I'm like, that just seems like really not the way, as a special ed teacher. T. Rogers, as you know, as a special ed teacher, we make everyone's little plan individual. And whatever they need to learn, we do that for them. Well, that's kind of what I do in life. So when I meet a white person, if they're too far off, obviously I can't, I'm no miracle worker, come on. But if they're willing to listen and learn, then I get like a little in, and I can kind of like slowly let them digest it. I have a whole like pattern that I do. I tell them one thing, let them kind of let it sink in, let them get pissed and walk away and come back, whatever it takes. But Anyway, what we're talking about is my real love is hidden history, because I truly believe in my heart of hearts that any white person who hears our real racial history, I'm talking sundown towns, the Devil's Punch Bowl, I'm talking just black codes, Jim Crow, the real truth, redlining, the origins of the police, the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment. I mean, if you know our real racial history, there's no way you're not going to realize that we did this. We did this. We made it nearly impossible for real equity to happen for black, brown, and indigenous people. We did this. And instead of me preaching, you shouldn't be racist, you shouldn't. Well, according to white folks, nobody's racist. According to white folks, none of us are. Nope. So go figure. Okay? It's because so many reasons. Psychologically, we can't handle it. We just can't handle it. I get it. It's very upsetting. It's like worse than being called the F word or whatever. It's like, but the problem is this. People have various reasons for why they cannot just open up their mind, drop their egos, and learn the truth. And once you learn the truth, it all makes sense. Redlining, okay, we created inner city poverty on purpose. I get it. We made it so that black folks, brown folks, indigenous people, African Americans couldn't accumulate generational wealth unless they were a total, just aberrant, just worked doubly as hard to get half as much, triply as hard, quadruply as hard. I can't go further than that to get less than half as much. And so it's like, until I don't need to preach that, I need to teach the real history. So the point is, I'm going to start trying to turn the channel over to doing top 10. And I have a list of top 10. And again, you can call in. I just made this off the cuff. I want to know what you think. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You'll be like asleep. But what I will do is, this is kind of a new way, 'cause I can't keep up. Like I said earlier to T. Rogers, I can't keep this up. I work almost full time. I have a family. I like to shower. Well, I don't really like to shower that much. That's a whole nother story you don't need to hear. I like to eat. I love my food. Sleep is, well, you get it. It's just because I'm slow. I can't make a video fast. I have to really research it. If I make one mistake, I have 1,000 people going, writing in, pouncing on me. It was a lot worse until I got kicked off of Facebook for life, because on Facebook, I had way more people. So if I did one little teeny, oh my God, I would have like 200 people pounce. So I really have to be careful, especially because I'm a white person. And we're not to be trusted. And we've earned it. Sorry, speaking the truth again. It sounds harsh, but it's not. We've earned not being trusted. And every single person who's black, brown, indigenous that meets me, I start all over with. They immediately, to one degree or another, they think, oh, yeah, right, lady, you want to teach white people not to be racist. Yeah, right, liar, and I get that. And it's sometimes frustrating, but we've earned it. White, not me personally, I didn't do anything to earn it. Probably I might have, but I'm talking about the system, the powerful system that is systemic racism and is a crime, an ongoing crime against humanity. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. 6 million people died because of Germans. Yeah, it's true. Very true. Maybe more, actually. It's kind of interesting. A lot of people don't realize it wasn't just Jewish people who died. Black people. Anybody accused of any aberrant anything. I mean, this is crazy. But yeah, definitely. So, people, we got issues. I'm here to speak the truth. Now, okay, so here's some of my ideas, and I'll kind of like blab them off. What I was going to do was like things like this. 10 ways our justice system is corrupt. 10 ways police in America are corrupt. Oh, that'll be easy. Sorry. No commentary. I'll just read them off. 10 ways, these are for my videos, that poor people are treated differently in other countries than here. Top 10 best practices other countries do that we don't. There's one for you. Top 10 ways to form a more perfect union that we don't do. Top 10 ways innocent people are executed by the state, by our nation. Top 10 ways, top 10 inventions that black people created and didn't get credit for. Top 10 inventions black people created that you don't know about. Top 10 things that you didn't know about Frederick Douglass. Top 10 ways Americans are suckers. Top 10 ways white Americans are suckers. Sorry. These are the titles I'm coming up with. Top 10 most corrupt things in America. Top 10 ways we allow police corruption before our very eyes. Top 10 ways we support state-sanctioned murder and abuse. Top 10 ways we don't follow best practices. Top 10 ways Top 10 ways we stop black people and brown people and indigenous people from accumulating wealth. Top 10 reasons Americans are content and shouldn't be. Top 10 reasons why we trick Americans into revering the rich. Here's one. Top 10 ways being poor in America sucks really badly. And top 10 ways, if you're poor in America, what's keeping you so you'll stay poor. I just have a couple more that I said I wouldn't rattle off, but these are all ideas. I want to know what you think. I'm going to change the channel, just slowly morph my channel into more of these type of things rather than trying to put the latest news out. And I'm going to count on people. If you like it, please share it. If you don't, I guess you will like the wealth one. Oh yeah, thanks. Because the topic that I cover on my YouTube and my Angry Soccer Mom Facebook page that is actually open to the public is anti-racism, anti-bigotry, inequality in America, and corruption. And you guys, that's kind of everything, right? So I should be able to do a lot of top 10 stuff. Here's a couple more. Oh, dang. More than a couple more. I want to know what you think. If you have any ideas off the cuff, jump right in. I'm adding them to the list as we speak. Top 10 ways the rich get away with abuse. Top 10 most corrupt things happening in our criminal justice system. The list goes on and on. Top 10 things you don't know about abolitionists. Top 10 ways it's a crime to be poor in America. I got that. Here's something a couple strange ones. Top 10 things that keep you up at night. Worried. Top 10 things racist politicians have said. Oh, that should be interesting. The competition's wild for that one. Top 10 reasons you don't know your own racial history. So I'm going to try to make these top 10 lawsuits that changed America. Racial lawsuits. Top 10 ways. Oh, goodness. Top 10 most corrupt politicians. I'm going to have people vote on that because I don't want to be too subjective. Anyway, top 10 free things you can do for your health. I just want to go on and on. Top 10 things America's missing with regards to quality of life. Top 10 things that are a huge deal if you're not rich. My list goes on and on. So if you want to call in and ask me anything, say anything. Top 10. Thank you. Got it. Adding it to the list as we speak. You know what? I just thought of something else. Hello. I'm on live. Hi. You're on live. Yeah, I am. Got a little visitor. Do you have a question? I'm using it. Sorry. Sorry, hon.
It's fine.
Don't take me. Okay. Bye, sweetie. Someone doesn't have a cell phone yet and is not getting one for a long time. We have a little bit of a lying thing going on. And so until we work with that, just a little lying thing going on, which is new to me. And I'm a goody two-shoes, so I'm like, okay, fine. I'm just going to tell a story. You know we love our children, but it is hard to keep one of my, yeah, okay, that makes me feel so much better. My older kids, I have really, really big kids, and then I have one little daughter. And she's not that little, but anyway, this is what convinced me that we're not going there. And I adore this baby, but oh my God. She says, story time, yes. Okay. My family's going to kill me, but I think it's worthwhile. This is the story that convinced me, and I already thought there's no way she's getting a cell phone until I'm really convinced she's like trust and honesty and all that. And, it's something some kids are good at, some kids aren't. She's a work in progress, and she's going to be an amazing, amazing young lady, because she already is. But she's walking down the street, and, she used to get off the bus, and this is when she was little. She used to get off the bus, is my littlest. And I always met her at the bus. I'm very overprotective in that regard. So shoot me, what can I say? And I realized that I really got to start having her gain confidence in who she is and not being like, well, you're safe because I'm here. I want her to feel confident. So I decided to watch her from the window when she got to a certain age. And she wouldn't know. And I would watch her and make sure she does the right thing. And she could show me that she's responsible, that she doesn't walk away and go do other things, and that she can feel like, I'm a big girl, I can walk home, and it's only a couple of houses down, right? I live in the forest. We have a teeny little neighborhood, trees, forest. Okay. So here's what happened one day. And I did not know this. So we got to the point where she would just come in and I would know the time. And if she wasn't there, then I'd be like, okay. I wouldn't even look out the window. I wouldn't even be watching her walk because she was old enough. Or I thought, you know what? She's got this. Well, one day she came in, Mommy, guess what? I met this cool new guy in the neighborhood. I'm like, keeping a straight face. Oh, really? Well, our neighborhood's extreme. There's only like 4 or 5. There are no new people in our neighborhood, okay? We're surrounded by the forest. So she comes, I said, oh, really? And she goes, and he had a puppy dog too. And I'm like, okay, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have a heart attack. And I'm like, really? And I was trying to like play it cool, not overreact, although it was very tempting. Like, what? I said, oh. And she goes, and he definitely wasn't really from our neighborhood because I had never seen him before. And I'm like, oh, great. Did he have a van with no windows? I mean, like, where is this going? I've talked to her a million times about, safety, but, and I've told her the puppy story, like people who, might want to, I've never do bad things to kids. Well, maybe prey on a child who like, is alone and they'll have a puppy and she knew the puppy story. So she comes in and she says, and he had a puppy and he was across the street, but I went over and petted it. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, she's with me. So I obviously know. And I was like, oh, really? I said, so what you're saying is some stranger came up to you while you were walking home from the bus that had a puppy dog that you've never seen before. And you went over and started playing with the puppy and said hi to him. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, well, was there anyone around? And she goes, no, it's just us. And I'm like, oh my God, my baby. So now you kind of understand where. And so as we were talking, she's like, oh, oops. And she goes, that's the story, huh? And I said, kind of. And I don't want my kid to be jaded for life. But anyway, so that's my story. That's why she's not getting a cell phone. And there are other things. But anyway, I'm just hanging out. If you have anything, questions, comments, top 10 things, I'm going to write them all down. Bring it on. But life is not easy. I come on. Yeah, so I'm like, my dear child, this is terrifying, because it's like kids, they're just born who they are. She's a flower child. She's just like, oh, no big deal, I'll say, do you have homework? And she'll be like, nope. And I'll be like, honey, I thought you had a test coming up. And she goes, I do, tomorrow. I go, but you're not going to study? And she goes, well, I didn't get homework. I'm like, honey, when you get to a certain age in school, you study for it. They're not going to say, do this homework to study. You have to. She's like, no, they don't. She goes, they didn't give me homework, so I'm good. And I was like, oh my God. So she's just innocent and sweet. Some kids are born that way. And it's like one of my other kids, oh God, I said, don't jump on the couch. One time, please don't jump on the couch like that. She wouldn't get up on the couch for 2 years. Like, oh my God. like literally would not crawl up onto the couch to sit because I said that. It's like, you never know. Kids are all different. But anyway, enough about that. If you're hanging out still, I'm just going to start looking up stuff and doing some research. Right now I'm looking for anyone who wants to call, say anything, say hello, write anything. Like I said, I'm not going to get into the topics that are like super, super like conspiracy theory stuff. Controversial, yes, of course I will. Oh, I know, before I, starting on Sunday, not this Sunday, but the next, wait, not this Sunday, but the next, let me just make sure. Okay, I'm with us here. No, not, oh God, I'm giving the wrong times. Not the 28th, but the 7th. On the 7th, I'm very excited. At 9 o'clock, we're starting the book, White Fragility, by Dr. Robin DiAngelo, doing one chapter a day. It's 20 minutes of discussion, less than 5 minutes I'll summarize it. If you don't have the book, don't read it. It's okay. I'm going to do a very concise summary. And then we can discuss it. I'll have a panel, people who want to be regulars. And then anyone can jump in and ask questions and call, and I'm going to just go around. Tell me what you think. Anything you've come up with, I want to hear what you think. And I'll just try to do a really quick summary. And I hope, if you know anyone, this is a beginner book, but it's very thorough. So if you come on and you know any white folks especially, obviously, if you're not a white person, or maybe, a few are who are very, very knowledgeable, you can be an educator, but most, obviously, white folks are, like me, we're learners for life with regards to systemic racism. We'll never get there, so we are always learning. And, most people nowadays, I think, have a great attitude about lifelong learners, but in this regard, we can educate ourselves and teach other white people, but we don't teach Black, brown, indigenous, people of mixed heritage. We don't know more than they know about what it feels like and what the solutions are to living in a society that has systemic racism at every turn. So it's not our place to teach. We're not saviors. We are not. No. So if you come on and you aren't a white person, you're going to be kind of on the education side, helping to teach, I guess you could say, or helping to give your experience, your wisdom, like that. And if you're not, and you have a ton of experience and wisdom and knowledge, if you're white, that's fine. But people who are brown, black, indigenous, etc., and other people of color are there to help educate. Because I don't teach people that. I mean, if you learn something, I'm not gonna scream, but that's not my place. That's arrogant as hell. Oh, Ramses, hello. Yes, absolutely. I've started. I've read it twice already. And now I'm reading. I read it twice, but now I'm outlining it, which is a whole nother ball game. It's like back to school. The Sundays are going to be, so I do, just to clarify, Ramses, great question. And I'm going to, oh, cool. Oh my gosh, Tyrell Baker. Wow. I don't know if you're still here. Awesome. I just coming on every Sunday to get to know people and to say hi and talk about whatever you wish. Thrilled. Let me scroll up if I missed anybody. Ramses, I have read it twice, and this is my third time, but I'm outlining it this time chapter by chapter because so I can do a summary, because a lot of people will not have read the first chapter, and the first chapter we're doing March 7th, so I don't want them to be excluded if they haven't read the damn thing, because I can outline it. It's fine. And I'll use a lot of quotes and, and whatnot. And then the second week's going to be the second chapter, so people can participate. And then we'll go to the next one, the next book. But this is a really basic one and a really good one. And I want to know what you think. Not everyone's going to agree with everything she says. I don't. But who cares? You learn one thing and you're psyched. Tara Baker, hey Kim, been too long. Do a quick Google search. There are great outlines out there. Yes, thank you, I will. Great point. I'm trying right now on my own to so that, okay, I know you're saying, I've seen if you go on, this has been the most studied, right, that's a really good point. I'm trying to, like, for example, Jane Elliott has tons of academic stuff on her sites, and I've been over that, and I can use that a little bit. And I should, you're right, but I like reinventing the wheel. But also, this has been good for me. This has really been good for me, having to outline it like it was a test, like I used to do in college. It takes me 10 years, but it's been kind of good for me. But thank you, Tyrell. That's an absolutely fantastic idea, and I hope you're doing great. I am thrilled that you stopped by, and I don't know if you're still here, but thank you so much. This Sunday thing is just to get to know people. I come on and do all these things, but I like T. Rogers. She would come on all the time, and I thought, God, I thought it was a boy, of course, because I always do. I'm always wrong. And one of my first admins was Tracy, who's one of my close friends, and I thought it was a girl because, I don't look at people, I don't go into people's, I don't know why, but I feel kind of weird, like creeping around people's sites. I know it's stupid, but I just don't. Unless I need to, like, for sure to tell, like, okay, I hired him as hired him. He was an admin for me for years. Fantastic. And I'm like, I should probably figure out if it's a boy or girl, just, But anyway, Tyrell, I'm thrilled to have you. Thank you. But yeah, so this one's a really great starter. And I hope people will want to be on the panel. It is it's a once a week commitment, and like for 12 weeks. But if you miss, it's fine. It's not like, but I got to know T. Rogers because I started, just coming on, and we just talked for an hour basically on the phone, and I'm just thrilled. I'm in this for the people, not to I want to know you guys. So I'm going to do it every Sunday, and worst case, nobody comes on. I have plenty of research to do. I don't know if you were here, if you heard all those top 10 list things I want to do. But what I'm looking for right now is and if anybody knows anything, I am all ears. I'm looking for one of those templates that you think are excellent to use for top 10. I want something, this is so bad. When I was sleeping this morning, like barely awake, that one show, Family Feud? I would love to have something like that. Survey says BAMP or whatever. I would love something like that as my template. But I want to make this simpler because I can't compete with people who have a team of experts and friends. It has to be personal for me. This is not a business. I don't get paid to do this. This is what I do because I love doing it. And I want to meet people and not just be like, here, learn this, here, learn this. I want to actually know you. And I do know a ton, don't get me wrong. It's just, there's just too many, I don't have enough time. And so that's why I'm doing this. And like T. Rogers, an example, I thought it was a boy, really nice man or boy. Or I wasn't sure, kid or I don't know. Cause, and it's a young woman, and I know her, and she's wonderful, and she's becoming my wonderful friend. So that's absolutely my goal. So what I have going on, I got about 20 minutes left that I'm going to hang on. What I have going on this week is the live show Wednesday. My last live show was a total flop. I had Colonel Crumlin on, my friend Dawn, who's incredibly knowledgeable and knows tons about the military. And we were all set, and it was a crazy day, and we worked together throughout the day, and my network went down. So I got out my crazy rant, which I just put it up as a single video, and he started talking for 5 minutes, and then my network crashed, and I'm so sorry. We're working on it, but I will be there Wednesday. I'm trying to get it so people can actually come on, not just call in for my Sunday, just come on for 5 or 10 minutes. Like, say, can I come on? And I'll be like, yeah, all right. And the book thing is, book club chat is starting on March 7th, Sunday at 9. I'll be sending out invitations. If you know somebody who's a white person and who wants to learn but doesn't really know where to turn, this might be a great start right here, because the This book, this book right here is, if you learn this, then you know more than 99.9% of any white folks in America. If you really get this and embrace this book, you're way ahead of the game. Because this is a system that was invented for wealthy white elites and any other white people who wanted to do it as well. And we are suckers. We have been suckered into this. Basically, believing that we too can be wealthy if it weren't for those black people. And it's like ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous. Nails and Glitter, hello. I'm doing anti-racism classes next Saturday. I'll try to tune in, but I can't make any commitments as a panelist right now. Oh. Okay, no, that's cool. I would love you to be there. I mean, this is like your book. This is the book you are like telling me you have to read, you know. And I've read other books, but I never actually read this book. And she was absolutely right. Now that this is my third time reading it, it's okay. I'm slow. So, but yeah, okay. Nails and Glitter, you can give me suggestions for people who should be on the panel. If I can't get anyone on a panel, I'll still do it. I have a couple people who already said they would, but you know, it's a tough commitment. People are busy and trying to make ends meet, trying to not get COVID, and you know, trying to stand up for equity for people and whatnot. So, but that's the first book. We'll see how it goes. I've never done a book. I mean, obviously I was a teacher for a really long time. I've read a book before, but my hope is to go around and say, what do you think? And I'll do the intro and that's it. I really do not want to be the one to be the teacher in this, because I want the people who live it to be the teachers. But it is not their responsibility. It is not, how shall I put this? Okay, I'll just say it. White folks need to take racial responsibility. We do, okay? But it is not the responsibility of the people who have been historically oppressed to teach us. I only have people who want to. Now, some people glean a ton from teaching. Like, I love teaching. I like teaching if people want to learn, I guess you could say. I've done a lot of special ed where there was extreme emotional, psychological, social behavioral issues. And when you have that much going on in your head, learning's just really hard. I mean, it really is. And I've also had extreme behaviors. So I love that little heart. That's beautiful. So I like teaching people who want to learn, I guess you could say. And some people love teaching and are very good at it. And that's great. Just, you shouldn't not have to, you can't teach, but the people who know the most, what I'm trying to say, they are under no obligation to teach anyone. They have to live this bullshit every single day of their life. It's like, give me a break. We can teach ourselves, and we should learn it and teach other people that are white too. So that's what I do. They'll probably listen to you more because you're white. Yeah, that's like, and T. Rogers, that's like obviously like a great point, but that's an enraging point. I mean, that makes me, I don't know if it's my white privilege or what, but if I was a black person living this, take the class you're hosting. Oh my gosh, you'll have to tell me, why don't you put it, first of all, how much is it, when is it, and all that. Because Saturday's my work day, where I work like basically all day, but I do have some time in the middle of the day. But definitely, if you want to post it up here right now to get people, do. And I'll post it on my my page, because I have a lot of people on there, and then I'll post it for you. I'm by nature a teacher and cannot get through to white people. Yeah, well, I'm a white person and a teacher, and I can get through to white people. Don't feel bad. You're wonderful. You can't get through to somebody who won't allow it. It's not your fault, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, it's a process. Wow, is it ever a process? This is a lifelong process for us white folks to work our way up the anti-racism continuum. We'll never get there, but we got to try. It's like, my God, why wouldn't we just try? And so it's really tough for me to get a lot of YouTube people on because, again, the white people don't want to hear it. We're very divided. They don't want to hear the truth. Not everybody, but most of them. There's a lot bigger people who have a lot more money and human power and are better at this than I am. I've never thought I was like great at this. I just have a lot of passion about it, and I care deeply with all my heart. And that's my strength. I'm not a great speaker. I'm not a great writer. I'm not some brilliant genius who knows the way. I just really, really care. And so I hope that comes across. And it's genuine. And no, I don't love all black people, and I don't love all white people. I don't love all of anything. Somebody asked me, do you love black men? I'm like, what? Do I love black men? Love black men? I don't know all black men. How do I know if I love all black men? It's like such a weird question. I know what they were trying to say, but it's like, no, I don't. It depends who it is, I guess. Same with black women. Like, same with white women. Same with white men. Same with Asian men. Same with, like, I was like blown away, and then I realized, like, I just don't think that way. I never have. Like, somebody's, have you dated black men? I'm like, have I? I don't know. I don't know. Let me think about that. It's not, I go like by the person, not the like shade of melanin. I'm sorry. I think what they're trying to ask me is, are you attracted to black men only? And I was like, no, I mean, no offense, but no, I'm married. No, but I mean, when I used to not be, and you guys, something is wrong with me. If somebody has a heart of gold, I fall in love. It's like, for just something like, if they're like, they have a heart of gold, I don't care what they are. Like, it just makes me just think they're beautiful. I've read half of the book. It's very, very good. Yeah. I'm on my thanks, Ramses. I'm on my third time through. So, and I'm happy reading it again, like for the third time. So that should say a lot. Yeah. Thank you for that. If you want to be on the panel or come by, I would love it. I need people to say what they think. I think she did a great job. I mean, it's not perfect, but you know what? It's like me. I'm not perfect. I do my best. If I get one person, then maybe I'll be happy. You know, this is a system. I'm one person. Really frustrating, but it's true. And I can't imagine how frustrating it is to live it and try to teach it. But anyway, I'm a big follower of Jane Elliott. I love Jane Elliott. Her style is not my style. I can't. I don't have it in me. It's not like, oh, I'm such a martyr, I'm such a great person, I can't. No, I can't purposely make somebody feel bad. Like, I just don't have it in me. But I can purposely teach someone history and say absolutely, unapologetically, the truth. But I mean, she's good. She goes after people. I can't do it. You got to do what you got to do. Like I tell people, when you're white and you're trying to educate and be an anti-racist person and live the lifestyle, not a hobby, not a Facebook picture. No. Not I have a black friend, but I don't really know what goes on in, systemic racism in America because, like, I have a black friend. That's all I can say. I have one. It's just, no, you don't really. You have an acquaintance. Okay, let's be real. You have a person you know and they happen to be black. You have a very close black friend, then you know what's going on. Because they've told you. You live it. You see it. It's like, God, I've been doing this for a long time, and I have so many friends that I adore from all over the United States and other countries, and they all tell me pretty much the same story, and they don't know each other, and they're not related. Okay? This is not a conspiracy. Sometimes a conspiracy really is true, and this is one of them. Systemic racism is absolutely real. And you hear the same story 100 times a day from various people in all different states, in all different countries, in all different situations. And yeah, you really, you start to go, damn, it's true. So I am going to, before I go, I have to do the whole, like, if you believe like I do, I'm not going to go yet. I have a couple things to talk. And anyone who wants to call, I'd love it. But please think about being in the book chat club. And this is Sunday free streaming. I do a live show on Wednesdays at 9 Eastern. And anybody who wants to host it, if you have some area that you are passionate about, you don't have to have a PhD. You can have a PhD in experience. I'd love to bring you on. I do interviews. If you have a unique story, it doesn't have to be like a death-defying. You don't have to be just out there to have your story matter, right? I like she acknowledged that Obama was a symbolic gesture towards us. Yeah, it's a tough. She's interesting, and there's not, yeah, and we'll get to that chapter. I don't know if I agree with that, but yeah, it's not really up to me to agree. She definitely does a good job with the book, and you read a book and you take out of it what you take, and if you take one thing out of it, then you've probably done okay. She's interesting. Her background's interesting. We all come from different backgrounds, and that's really what guides us towards how we look at things. I personally love it when I have the people living it who tell their stories, because they don't have to say stop being racist. You hear their story and you're like, oh my God, we treat people like that? Oh my God. It's just like telling real racial history. You don't have to preach to people, stop doing this. You just tell the real racial history, and it dawns upon anybody with a normal IQ or the average IQ or higher that, damn, we did this. So please join me in one of my, online live things I do. I have a new video coming out today, hopefully, or tomorrow. It is entitled something like, I haven't really written the title, 10 things white people should know about touching black people's hair, like whether you ask or not. I did it as, it's not a rant, it's a top 10 things white folks should know about touching black people's hair. And what I mean by that is not like, oh, be careful, don't pull it. I mean, when you come up to, oh, I like your hair, it's cool, and you reach out and try to touch it. And why that is incredibly inappropriate in almost every circumstance. So it's my video. I'm going to try to make it really compact, and I'm going to start getting into top 10. If you know anything about that kind of thing, I'm open. I'll Skype with you, talk to you. You can teach me anything. I'm open to learn. What else? My last video I put up was supposed to be in the live show, but we got cut off by the computer. The network fell down, and it fell down, boom. And I took my rant, and I would really like to know what you think of this video. It wasn't as concise as I'd wanted it to be. Hello, it's me. Like I said, I'm not a great speaker. I'm just me. It was about the problems with passing on misinformation. Oh my gosh, I have that in there. T. Rogers, black people are not toys and cartoon. Right. Like I put, black people are not pets. You don't go pet. Well, I'll show you the video. I hope you like it. I got a ton of input here, there, everywhere, and read a lot for it. But what was I gonna say? So my last video that I put out, it's not doing that well. I think I just probably went on and on. You can tell me. Ronald, hello. I'm on right now for, well, I guess it says it up there. Come by and say hello. Free streaming. We're just chatting. I've had an absolutely incredibly nice time. Not too many, only one person's called in, but she stayed and talked, and it was absolutely amazing. So anyone who wants to, Savannah, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is just talk about anything, do anything, jump in and anything you want to talk about. So this video I did, my whole point was even well-meaning people pass misinformation that can lead to really, really bad consequences. It gives a lot of ammunition to people who are benefiting heavily. Yes, all you do is say hi. Hi, Timmy. How are you? I actually mentioned you in this already from the beginning. I always talk about some of your stories and stuff, so you're a little famous right now. Just saying. But this video, it's not doing that well. It's the last thing I put up when I was supposed to be on with Colonel Crumlin, who was going to shed some light on a lot of things with his wisdom. Turns out my network fell down, but I did my rant, and he talked for like 10 minutes. So I took the rant, which was really about what happened with the Central Park Karen. I don't know if everyone's familiar with the Central Park Karen. She was a lady who used her privilege and extremely obnoxious, deadly behavior to try to, I guess, overpower a man who was in Central Park bird watching, who is a black man, asked her to put her dog on a leash because the area her dog was running wild, not on a leash, and I'm assuming scaring the birds away. It was a bird watching sanctuary. So he said, oh, can you put your dog on a leash? And she kind of went nuts and said, I'm going to call the police and tell them a black man is threatening my life. And that's what she did. And, the repercussions for her were overwhelming. And what happened was, this is what the last video is about. I liked the last video, but a lot of ones that I like don't do well. Like, my best one wasn't one that I liked. My one that did the best wasn't like, oh, my favorite video. It just doesn't work that way. I don't know how it works. If I did, I'd have a million subscribers and be on the way up there. Garrick, oh my gosh. Garrick, we as a nation are really starting to recover, as misinformation was the weapon that helped Trump win, and we were suffering the consequences as racism was given more power and enabled. Great point. I mean, watch the video I did on Cambridge Analytica. And most people, this is the craziest thing. Garrick, great point. The number one thing in my mind that made Trump win is something most people don't even know about. He hired Cambridge Analytica to do psyops on using Facebook data, all the points of Facebook data that he had on every single person in America. And there was a breach, and he got fined for the breach. Mark Zuckerberg did, but he got fined like millions, in trouble for what he did. But it's too late. He sold off the information to somebody. To Cambridge Analytica. And they went in and did military-grade psyops, psychological operations on a very individual basis. And people, when they hear me say this, they're like, what the F are you talking about? Because nobody's heard of this. I don't know why. I guess nobody watched my video. No, I'm just kidding. There was a documentary on it. There's things that just don't come out. I mean, some things come out in the news and some things don't. And apparently this one was a not. So they didn't just try to trick people. They used military grade. And when I say military grade, the military uses it. They use it to influence people, and it works. It works. I'll post the video. The video is like 7 minutes or 6 minutes. It's not like the most exciting, but my God, is it interesting. Right, Garrick, Russia was also his weapon as he was speaking to Putin in 2012. KGB was also, absolutely. Psychological and technology is hard to translate and grasp. That's a good point. T. Rogers. Yeah. I mean, here's the crazy part. When I had to really, really dig to figure out how to present it in a video in a short amount of time, because there was so much to it. just talking about psyops alone and explaining how they do it, it's really crazy. But I could totally see it working, from what I know about psychology and just being a human. What they do is it's brilliant. It's extremely deceptive and corrupt. I mean, you don't know they're doing it. What they did was they picked people from purple states, they called them. And they had all these points of information. So they knew what they liked, what they didn't, what they did, they knew all these things. They said they boasted 3,000 points of data on each person in America. And what happened was they would pinpoint you. Yours would not be anything like your neighbors, even if you were looking at the same thing. And they would put things on the side with basically not subliminal things flashing, but certain articles that would spark you to go, You didn't have to open them, really. A lot of us just don't read the article. We just look at the headline. And that's actually going back to, not to jump all over, but that's me. My last video I did that was my point. With the Karen, the Central Park Karen got off. Her case was, I guess, dismissed, her legal case. And that's the headlines that I saw. Just see the video. I would love you to see it and tell me some feedback. You can tell me real feedback. If you think I'll be embarrassed, tell me privately so I won't be embarrassed. You don't have to publicly humiliate me. But anyway, so what happened was this company was hired, Cambridge Analytica, which is no longer a company. It's called, the top 4 people in there went, and it's called Datapropia. It's another company. I don't know if they're still running, but that's what they do. They do psyops and they do psychological operations to influence people. Brexit hired Cambridge Analytica, and that is been credited with why Brexit went through. They hired the people who wanted Brexit, the far right, hired Cambridge Analytica, and they helped to push Brexit through. This is real stuff, people. This is what we saw in movies when we were kids, and it is happening now. It's not just technology and the hard scientists that have really, increased and improved. Social science is kind of a thing, and it does matter. It's a lot harder because there's too many convoluting variables and there's just too much going on, but we have learned how to successfully manipulate. And that's what it is. And we manipulated people in purple states who, not just anybody in purple states, people who the formulas said could be manipulated. So that's kind of how it went down. I'll try to post, before this closes, I'll try to post the video so you don't have to sort through them. Garrick, reality winner, the Air Force who was tried and convicted, she was an intelligence officer who whistleblew about this with Russia involved with it. Yeah, see, there's so much we don't know, and if that doesn't get into the mainstream news, then how can one person keep up? So, thank you, Garrick. Garrick's going to come on hopefully sometime as a guest in one of the live shows and come on. He's very knowledgeable and does a ton of research into very interesting things, and he has a lot to share and offer. No pressure, Garrick. But anyway, I'm going to say goodnight. I guess good evening. Not only say good night. If you believe what I'm doing, trying to educate white America, those who want to be educated in a real racial history, and educate myself in the process, because this is a lifestyle, not a hobby for me. If you want to help in any way, please support my YouTube channel. I am on, let me see. If you look into the bottom of a video where the description is, it tells all the other platforms that I'm on and what I do, about the book club, about today's Sunday free streaming, and about the live shows, about interviews. Again, if you have a story to tell, I will listen to your story, tape your story. I will never release your story online without verbal, recorded, or written permission. This is your story. This is not me to exploit you. If you don't glean something from a story and you want to quit at any time, I was going to say I throw it away, but I delete it. That's your choice. There are no questions asked. It is not about me exploiting you. You have to want to and glean something from talking about your story. Garrick, Central Park Karen, Amy Cooper is scary because she's only an icicle on top of the iceberg. She's a racist with power. Supervisor, doctors, prosecutors, right, who will attack us, right. And the bottom line from that is that the victim, the bottom line, not to give away the punchline, but we had tons and tons of, just watch the video. You're not going to believe it. How many totally legit news sources put Central Park Karen's prosecutor drops case. Well, that was true, but it was highly misleading. I mean, highly misleading. And we all know, like, so many of us don't have time to read the articles, but that was, it takes away whenever, this is just obviously my opinion, whenever somebody writes something that's misleading, I don't care if left or right, takes away from the really legit cases. And this was a legit case. And whenever lies come out, it gives ammunition to the right, the far right, who right now I consider just basically haters. I don't consider them, the Republicans have turned to the dark side, and maybe they always were. Maybe the Democrats and the Republicans are. But I don't think there's quite a comparison right now, if you know what I mean. We don't have a choice. So I go for the lesser of where one evil basically wants to be a dictator and reenact like some sort of put slavery back in. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't put it past them. We are way too naive, some of us, about what they'd like to do. I have absolutely no doubt that Trump's plan is to be the next Hitler #2, Roman numeral. And I'm also very much believing that this is the twilight of our democracy, and we are allowing it to happen. And not you personally, of course, but it's a toughie. So let me just read a couple more, and then I'm going to run off. Garrick, Central Park Karen. Yeah, so, yeah, it was really bad. So if you check out that video, which I'm going to try to put in here, you'll realize, like, it was really misleading on a case that was absolutely legit. And it was controversial. The guy said she had had enough. And he's the victim. I guess that's his say. I'm not, who am I? A white person? Every black person gets to say what they want. They don't have to follow. Now, I get it. And he gets it too. I saw his interviews. He said he knows he has a responsibility, as a black man to the community and because of racism and all that. But he decided that the DA could follow through with the case, but he wasn't helping, and he absolutely has that right. Whether that's right or wrong, it's not my place to say. I don't know. I don't know him. It was right for him, so it was right, I guess. So, very controversial. Please check out that video if you would. I'd like to know what you think. Even though it was obviously a lot of judges, obviously, and a lot of supervisors, and a lot are very, very racist as hell. But that may not have been the reason for why it was dropped. And to act like that was the reason when it really wasn't, or at least we don't know it was. I'm pretty sure what they said was they dropped it because the star witness was saying, I'm not helping. And that's not uncommon. I mean, the star witness, the man who was the victim, said, I'm not participating in prosecuting this woman. What are you going to do? So, anyway, we got to watch the misinformation. We have so much coming up our way. So, if you want to check out my videos, I'd appreciate it. I'm going to read the very last, not trying to skip people. It's so me to do so. Yep, Garrick, absolutely, Ron Bramses. And the part when she has to be corrected by her own black coworker, and she said, when you do some racist shit again, would you like your correction public or private? That was something that was surprising to me. That is a courtesy. And yeah, it's a courtesy and of a very, very nice and understanding person. Black people don't get that courtesy, usually. when we're racist, we do it right in public. It's who we are. So that is a professional courtesy, and I can only guess that she earned it. But yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be a good book. I hope you come to the book club. Dr. Robin, yeah, she's really upfront and honest, and I love it. Garrick, with the far right, the FBI and Secret Service need to do their job and surveillance them, as these are potential white supremacists and militant recruits who will return and or come back. And you know what? I had an article all ready to talk about 2 times ago on what the new Pentagon lead, I'm blanking on his name, of course, in the 11th hour here of our chat. He's doing some pretty cool stuff. I'm either going to make a video of it, but since I'm doing top 10, I might not, or I'll probably just put it on the Wednesday show. But it's from a couple weeks back, but he's doing a lot, pinpointing the military. Whereas before, people were like, oh, it's just a few bad apples in the military. This whole bad apple bullshit. Yeah. It's not just a few bad apples. Because I'm sorry, when you're in the military, when you're in the police, when you see somebody doing something incredibly wrong, okay, and you do nothing, you are an accomplice. Sorry, it's just true. Now, in real life, you're like that, but the consequences are really not far-reaching. But when you're in an organization that has power and rules, and you're supposed to have a protocol of how to behave, and you choose not to, you can be abusive. And that's really what's happening. There were way too many police and way too many former and current, military people absolutely willing and apparently able to join in and essentially plot an insurrection to stop the fair election from going on. So we got a lot to talk about. Did I skip anybody? Let me just look. Great points from everybody. Who owns the media? We all know who owns the media. White supremacists and the far right don't do anything incriminating, so the FBI can't do anything. I'm not sure where you're getting that, if that's an opinion or if that's somebody, a professional in the spy on them all you want. They won't find anything, and if they do, then good on them. Okay. I'm not 100% sure where you're going. Tell me more. I don't want to cut you off, but I gotta go because my time is up. But tell me more, or write me if you want to write me privately. I'm perfectly good to go offline about it. Because I need to know more. That's the problem. If you don't call in, it's not you. With everything, I'm reading what you're writing and kind of interpreting it, and I'm not sure 100% where to go on that. But get a hold of me. I'm on my Angry Soccer Mom. I still can get into my Angry Soccer Mom. Thanks for coming by, SUG44. You can still private message me on there somehow. I don't know how, but if you go on there, I'm so bad. People private message me all the time. So you can. I'm sure you'll figure it out. I would love that. And any conversations, I'll definitely check them out. You dox people as they call in. I dox people. I don't know people's address, phone number, full names, telephone number, so I don't dox people. I don't know the information to dox people, but I'm not sure why you're saying that. Dox people, they call it. I don't get it. Tell me more if you want. And thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out with me. Let me see. Oh, no. I got it. Okay, no. I say those are people who I already have permission to. I gotcha. Okay, my friend Tim, he's come on my show. He's absolutely open. He doesn't care. My friend T. Rogers is T. Rogers. No one knows her real name. It's a girl, a woman. It's a woman. That's it. So, but my friend Timmy, he's been on all my. He doxes himself. So yeah. I don't mean, I only do it to people who say, go for it. Okay. Oh, oh, Tim does it right. It's because Tim is an open book. He's amazing. He's just my best friend. What can I say? I mean, he really is. He's, yeah. If somebody like me would have a best friend, whatever. But yeah, thank you for clarifying. Yeah, no. I would. Oh my God, I would never. No. It's just if you hang out longer, you'll know Tim's always there. He's always somewhere, and I have a million videos of him, and yeah, I know. I got it. Thank you. All right, I'm here to learn too. So I'll say thank you to everybody. So thanks for being here. Please watch some videos. Some of my videos are really crazy rants, and they're like evil, crazy, angry. Oh, I just get so frustrated. And some of them are extremely nice in teaching and educational and very palatable and easy to watch. I have something for everybody. The 101 series is like nice. And yes, I am passionate. And yes, if Trump were hanging off a cliff with one hand, I would do everything in my human power to save him. I respect the sanctity of life. Now, would I try to give him rehab and try to, of course, but would I let him go? My God, hell no. Never. Never. My personal integrity is all I'm taking to the grave. And I would never do that to a fellow human. All right? And no, I'm not a martyr. It's just, I care about my fellow humans. Even the ones that are really horrible. It's just a little harder to care, but I do. Okay? So I'm not into hating, but I am passionate. So please don't take me wrong. Or take me wrong if you want. I guess it's not my choice. All right, I'm blabbing. Thank you so much for being here. This was amazing. I might not be on next week. I'll put it out. So I'm going away for the exact time this is. I will have my live show. And in 2 weeks from now, we'll start the book club at 9. It's going to be really short, so come on time. I have to come on time. I'm actually talking to myself. I'm the worst. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't be a stranger. And be safe and spread the truth. Because we're only on this planet for such a short amount of time. Why not do good for our fellow humans while we're here? What else are we going to do? Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching. Let me see.